Mandy said, I've got an incredible person for our hero. Let's get this Pat guy. So there's Pat. That's him. Pat's,
Yes.
how are you, Pat?
I'm good, but
All right.
far from a hero. Far from a
Now,
hero.
well, here's the thing.
No.
You get to listen to Mandy talk about you, so you can just be quiet. All right, Mandy, you take it.
Well, I really wanted to highlight this wonderful human today as our hero. He's definitely been a hero in my life. He has been a hero for many. He served on the Calgary Fire Department for how many years, Pat?
34.
34 years. He helps every veteran that I've ever met. We got to meet when I was doing a museum installation for the Calgary Fire Department, and Pat was my helper, and I got to meet all the veterans, and it was just an incredible experience. But one thing that was very, very special to us, besides our shenanigans and our painting together, was that we both have struggled with PTSD, and Pat is one of the very courageous and brave human beings that kind of came out with it and is vocal about it in order to help his friends and everyone else in the fire department. And
Hmm.
so, with us all going through the trauma of COVID and all of these other things at the moment, I think being vocal and open to speaking about PTSD and what it's like to try and heal that and what kind of things we can do to help us is very important right now. I think a lot of people are going to struggle after this, and I just love you so much, Pat, and I think you are just such an incredible rock and amazing human. He also is doing live Facebook um, like concerts, right? Is that what it is? On every
Ah,
Saturday? Yeah,
every
yeah. So
every Saturday.
he's just a shining light for so many, especially in the emergency response community, and definitely in my heart. So Pat, I love you so much. Thank you for being my hero.
No. Well, it's nice. It's nice that I can affect you in that way. Um, I, as far as being a hero, I had to melt down, and it was weird. Like I went from being a total rock, you could handle anything, to laying on the floor and crying in 5 minutes, and
Hmm.
and that was in January 2013, and I basically don't remember 2013, um, and I couldn't have got through it without the support. I mean, we had the medical staff from the fire department that really supported me. Tanya Seelock, Dr. Tony
Hmm.
Lynch. Uh, my wife was an absolute rock. Um, the people at the museum, when they tried to put me back in some sort of not a work environment, but more of a social environment, they let me do a little work. But I was trying to fix things that were broken in the museum, sort of thing, and clean them up and make them look
Hmm.
better. But that was not what I was trained at. So they were just being nice to me, letting me play. And
Hmm.
back then, I had an amazing dog who stayed with me all the time and got me. Dogs were to me were the lifeline.
Ah.
Um, yeah.
Now,
So
Pat, when there are a lot of people who are not just first responders, although there are a lot of those frontline people who are going through an incredible amount of stress and trauma right now that I know you help with and talk to. But even I'm thinking like there are adults right now who are supposed to be in control, right? As a parent, when we're in this crisis, I'm supposed to be in control. I'm supposed to show this is all fine. When meanwhile, a lot of parents and a lot of adults are feeling the stress of, I don't know how to handle this. What do you tell people like that are on one hand supposed to be the rock like firefighters, but on the other hand aren't feeling like that?
yeah, I think it's important to show vulnerability and the fact that you're struggling as well. If you open up and show people that it's hard for me as well, then you share the burden together. I mean, and kids are brilliant. Kids understand that you're struggling and we'll try to help. And you know, my daughter used to come over and just put her arm around me and say, it's okay. But
Hmm.
Hmm.
I mean, you can't. It's hard when you break down in front of your kids, but you try not to do that. But you try to bring them into your situation, and
Mm,
because the more people that are standing with you, the easier it is to hold up everything, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know,
I agree completely, Pat.
yeah.
I
mm.
love you, Patty. I love you so
I,
much.
I've watched the show a lot, Mandy, and you tell a lot of people you love them.
I love a lot of people, but
I'm not
not
feeling
a,
that special.
oh, come on, Pat, come on. I've only like blown on paintings with straws with you,
Yeah.
my friend.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, Mandy's one claim to fame is I when they asked me to go help Mandy with these murals and stuff. I said, sure, I'll help her. I'm thinking I'll be the guy that cleans her brushes and brings her whatever she needs. Usually half diet Pepsi, half diet
Yeah.
Coke, and half regular Pepsi. But in the process, I think it's in the first day we're working together, she realizes that we have a pretty good chemistry instantly. It was kind of fun. And she says, okay, I want you to paint something over here. And I said, Mandy, I cannot. I'm not ruining your mural. No, no. And she makes this little frame and says, I want you to paint something in there. And I'm going, oh, God. So I sit there and I dip my paintbrush. And the first stroke of the paint coming off the brush to me was like magic. And I just went, oh, my God. And so I painted with Mandy the rest of the day. Went home. I'm cutting the corners off boxes and using face paints from the kids, painting on the paints. I go to Michael's the next day. I buy every paint they got. I have I have done nothing but paint since what was that 3 years ago? 3 years
Yeah.
ago that we got together, and
Yeah.
it was life changing. I can't draw to save my butt, but I somehow can paint,
Yeah.
and so because they say the PTSD is actually what do they call it, like a brain injury, and apparently I started thinking with the other side of my brain because the more analytical problem solving
Hmm.
part that I used in the fire
Hmm.
department, I don't like using that much anymore. So I use the more artistic side, and
Amazing.
and music,
Yeah.
music, and art have become my savior. And without music, I never would have got through all the PTSD stuff because with the dealing with my psychologist, we have to process all the bad things that you go through.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And the only way I could get through them is if I sung to myself in my mind and just sung to myself, and I could get through anything. So
Oh,
It's the
it was amazing.
best.
What a great
amazing.
story.
Now, Mandy,
Uh,
can
yes.
could talk about your painting you did here? Tell us a bit about this one.
Oh, I just I did this beautiful portrait of you, Pat. I stole it from your Facebook, and I sure cried and giggled while doing it last night. I just think you're just such a special, special man, and I love you.
I love
So
you,
good.
Pat. That's nice, Mandy.
And I also did Dawn and Art, so I'll send that to you for your show on Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah, they were talking. Mandy was talking to the other two guys in my band yesterday.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you know what's interesting about whenever Mandy
Um,
sees Russ or Jim or I, she gives us a big hug, says, "I love you so much," and then quietly says, "But not as much as Pat." So now we finally know who it is. So
well, thanks so much for letting us honor
that
you, Pat. I love
that
you
that
so much.
that's why Dave is a Calgary treasure because he knows how to lie like a son of a.
no, Dave is a
um,
Calgary treasure, and most people just want to bury me. So there's that.
no, no.
Hey,
Good
look
one.
at hey
Uh,
Pat. We are going to call Avnish, who's with us every Monday, to help us be a bit more mindful.